Hi everyone, Luke here from Weekend Tour Pros, and in today's video we've swapped the golf clothing for the gym clothing and we swapped the golf course for my back garden, because today I'm going to be showing you these, the SuperSpeed Golf sticks. Now these sticks are part of a speed training program from SuperSpeed Golf, which apparently if you follow it you could add 5 to 10% increase in distance to your golf game. Now I don't know about you, but I'm always keen to add extra distance to my golf game, and after watching Matt Fitzpatrick win the US Open and all the talk that week being about how much distance he'd added to his golf game, I thought I've got to get me a piece of the action. So I purchased a set of these sticks. I've been following the program for 4 weeks now, and I want to show you how you use the sticks and show you the results I've been getting so far, so you can see if these are a worthwhile investment for you and if you really want to put the effort in. Let's go and get stuck in, shall we? Okay, so before I do the session today, I just thought I'd tell you a little bit about what you get in the box and how these sticks are supposed to work. So in the pack that I've got, you get 3 sticks. Now there is a kind of average to faster swing speed version, there is kind of a slower swing speed version, and then there are various junior versions which are different lengths designed to help junior golfers of all different age ranges. Now in all of those packs you get 3 sticks. You get a lighter one, which in my case is the green one, you get a medium one, which is the blue one, and you get a heavy one, which is the red one. Now the way these work is they're all compared to the average weight of a golf driver. Now the green one is about 10 to 15% lighter than an average golf driver, so you should be able to swing this one really fast, really quickly, and hopefully prove to yourself that your ceiling figure of how fast you can swing a club is actually a lot higher than you first thought. You then get the medium one, which is about 5% lighter than the average driver, and again really quickly you should be able to swing this a little bit faster than your driver, and again give you confidence, but it will feel very similar to the driver, the weight that you've got at the moment. And then the final one is this heavy one, which is the red one. This is about 5 to 10% heavier than a driver, and again this one is the hardest one to swing, and hopefully by improving the speed of this one, again that will correlate to kind of improving the speed at which you're able to swing your driver. Now in terms of what you do with these sticks is SuperSpeed Golf Online have a training program. I'll share a few screenshots of it on screen now, and in each of these training programs there is an instruction video that tells you what to do, a guide in terms of the number of swings that you need to follow, and then there's even a way of tracking that using their tracking sheet. Now I've personally built a little bit of a spreadsheet so I can track a little bit more data, and I'll show you a few screenshots of that at the end when I show you the results. One thing I would say is that SuperSpeed Golf claim that this takes about 5 to 8 minutes to do one of these sessions. Now I'm only in level 1, which has 39 swings in it, and I think it's taking closer to about 10 minutes, but I'm going to time it today so you can see just how long it takes. But it is worth noting that level 2, level 3, level 4 and 5 has slightly more swings. I think it's about 57 versus the 39 in level 1, and therefore it's worth considering that it will take a couple of minutes longer to do those other sessions, so be prepared to do that. Right, what I'm going to do now is set up the session, we'll give it a go, I'll time it for you, and during the middle of the session I will just break away and pause and give you a few of the things for you to consider if you're going to give these sticks a go. Okay, so just before we start, one of the things that SuperSpeed Golf says, always wear a glove, and in a second when I switch to the non-dominant side, always make sure you change your grip over. And no laughing at my non-dominant swings, I'm not very good at swinging right-handed at the moment. Okay, so that's the blue and green done on the first type of swings. Got to rest for a minute or so now, then we go with the red. Okay, so the next thing in this protocol is to do some step swings. I actually find these quite tough, the kind of sequencing of it. So some days are good, some days are bad. Okay, that's the green and the blue one's done. Time for a minute rest, and then we'll go on to the red. Okay, so I've just paused the session that I'm in the middle of here to just tell you a couple of things for you to consider. You might have been watching the video and thinking this all sounds great, what's the negatives to it, Luke? Well, a couple of things for you to consider that might be negatives for you are, number one, whilst the speed sticks are only £189, you do need a device for tracking how fast you're swinging it every single time. Now I've got the Mevo Plus there because that has a swing training mode. SuperSpeed Golf recommend one of the speed radars, but it's absolutely imperative that you have that. If you haven't got any kind of feedback on how fast you're swinging in the club each time, you don't know if you're getting better. And whilst I therefore think this is a really cheap option of trying to increase yardage to your game, if you then do need to add on the cost of another device, if you don't own one already, it probably will end up coming to about that £400 mark for a basic radar and the sticks, and you then have got a much bigger outlay. So that is something to consider as point number one. And point number two is this is an ongoing time commitment. You can't just do this once and expect to get loads of improvements and then to stay with you for life. It doesn't work like that. Like all training that we do, whether it's gym training, whether it's cardio training, you know, if you train for a 10K run, get to that 10K run and then don't run for a year, it'll be much harder for you to then just get out of bed and run 10K at the same speed that you were a year ago, because our bodies regress if we stop doing training. So it's really important to consider that you do need to make this time commitment on an ongoing basis. And while SuperSpeed Golf do recommend that you can move into a maintenance phase of only doing the sessions once a week, once you've got to a certain level, there is still a need to do that ongoing. So something for you to think about is, can you actually keep doing this on an ongoing basis to maintain those gains and hopefully improve your golf game? Right, let's get back to the session, see how long it took us today, see if we hit any PBs, and I'll show you that Trackman data of how much I've progressed in the first 4 weeks. Every session finishes with 3 swings with the lightest stick as fast as you can. I've got 110.2 is my maximum so far in miles per hour. Let's see if we can beat that. I've not had many PBs today, obviously struggling a little bit with the heat. And like I say, this isn't a linear journey. Not every session will you beat all of your PBs. There'll be a little bit up and down, but overall the progress is good. But let's see if we can beat that 110.2 PB with the lightest stick. 3 swings. 106.6 and not very good. Bit of tiredness. Come on. 111.6. Yes, new PB. That one did feel fast. Come on. 108.6. Spent it all on that last one. Right, let's get the clock. Let's see how long that session took. Okay, so I've stopped the stopwatch. I'm just going to try and bring this up to the camera. Hopefully you'll be able to see that. 13.36, so 13.5 minutes. Now what I would say is I have been doing a little bit of talking to camera during the middle of it, and I am going a bit backwards and forwards to the iPad to check my data, so maybe 12 minutes or so is probably a more accurate reflection of how long this session would take. What I would say is that is level 1 with 39 swings. Once you get up to level 2, 3, 4 and 5 that have a couple of more swings, you're probably looking at 15, 16 minutes. Now that isn't the 5 to 8 minutes that SuperSpeed Golf claim, but look, if you can make 15 minutes 3 times a week to try and improve your golf game and add yards to your game, then it's definitely a worthwhile investment. What we're going to do now is I'm going to catch my breath, a little bit out of breath from those last few swings. I'm really delighted I hit a PB, but let's go indoors. I'll show you the data that I've got from using the sticks over the last 4 weeks, and you can see the journey that I've been on. And then what we'll do is we'll wrap up by me showing you a couple of the data points from Trackman with my driver and my 7 iron, so you can see how that's translated onto the golf course, hopefully help you to make a decision if you should buy these sticks. So I'm going to start by showing you my spreadsheet from using the speed sticks. What you can see from the graphs at the bottom is that there's been an upward trajectory and improvement with all of the sticks since I started 4 weeks ago. I've said this a few times, it's not a linear journey, there are ups and downs, but the overall progress is upwards and positive. If we look at the data in the tables above and compare the lines that say the minimum and the maximum, you'll see that I've increased with the green stick by about 10 mile an hour, with the blue stick about 8 or 9, and with the red stick by about 8 mile an hour. On the far right hand side, if we look at that maxed out swing using the green stick only, I've increased that from 105.5 to 111.6. So that says to me that my ceiling figure of how fast I can swing has gone up by about 6 mile an hour from when I started. Now let's look at that Trackman data, starting with the 7 iron. What you can see here is that my club head speed was increased by 1.5 mile an hour with my 7 iron. my carry distance has gone up by 4 yards, and my total distance has gone up by a yard. Now, the reason why the total distance is only increased by a yard is because what I'm actually getting is an increased carry distance and a much stronger ball flight. My spin number is up, my launch angle is up, my peak height is up, and my land angle is up. So what this has actually given me is a lot more potential to score, to hold greens, whilst only increasing my club head speed just slightly. So it's improved the quality of my iron performance by adding that little bit of extra speed, and I am seeing that out on the golf course. Now let's get to the exciting bit, the driver. So what you'll see from the driver numbers here is a much bigger increase in that club head speed from 92.6 up to 96.2, 3.6 miles an hour in just 4 weeks. And then let's look at that carry distance, up from 193.4 to 206.9 yards, 13.5 yards of increase in carry distance in 4 weeks of speed training. Wow, mind is blown. Now, just like my irons, you can see that my spin rate, my launch, my height and my land angle has gone up. Whilst that's good for an iron, it's not so good with the driver. So what that says to me is that I need to probably go back and see a club pro or a club fitter and hopefully have a lesson with them and get them to optimize my driver for me again, maybe by playing around with the settings on it, maybe de-lofting it, just so I can increase that carry distance even more with that extra bit of speed that I've got. Now, just before I wrap up, I've got to show you one of the shots from that most recent batch. Have a look at this one here. 97.6 club head speed and 224.9 yards of carry. 225 yard carry with a driver. I've never done that before on a Trackman. It absolutely blew my mind when I saw the numbers. Now, what I would say is all of the data you've just seen is using Trackman in normalized mode and using a Pro V1 golf ball. So all of the data sets are comparable to each other. Okay, so we're reaching the end of the video now, and hopefully you can see from the video today that the SuperSpeed sticks do work, or at least I'm seeing some really positive results from using the sticks, and I'm desperate to keep using them. Anything that adds some improvement to my golf game, adds a bit of distance, I'm always going to stick with. And actually I find the sessions quite fun. Trying to beat your PBs each time and seeing how fast you can go is all really good fun for me. What I'd love to hear in the comments down below is whether you think it's too much effort or whether you'd be willing to give them a go or a similar speed system a go having watched this video. Also, if you like the video, do please consider giving it a thumbs up. It really, really does help me. And if you like what you see, then please do subscribe to the channel because there's plenty more content just like this coming soon. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.